Hi Gemini, this is your August 2025 soul story. If you have a sun rising or moon in the sign, it's your reading. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel. It's Romy here. We're opening up this month with the energy of the Page of Wands. You're going to move in August from clouded to clear. You know, we've got a little bit of mental gymnastics going on in third house energy. Added to that, we still have Mercury, your ruling planet, retrograde through to the 11th. And, you know, as you're trying to contemplate and deal with everything that's going on in your mind at the moment, and perhaps the way in which you're being stretched, pushed and pulled in multiple directions, the invitation is to think about, you know, what has substance here? What is calling me? What really supports that soul-led energy? There's a bravery to Leo season, and there's an earnestness actually that's coming forth with your approach. There's some sort of offer that you are making or that you are reaching out with, and you know, it may feel that you don't know how that's going to be received, you don't know how that's going to end up panning out for you. But I think what the realization, you know, that you've come to or arrived at the moment is that, you know, you have to keep staying open, even when things hurt, even when things are unclear, even when there is such heightened contrast in the world. And there's no more sign than you that has the ability to understand the duality that plays out right now in the collective, because you yourself have such a dualistic nature and you're used to that, the complete opposite contrasting feelings, emotions and energies that run through you 24/7, right? August is a month that is unlike anything else. It's not what we expect it to be, and even if we try to prepare for it, it still feels like it comes in with something unexpected. Now, Mars shifts into Libra on the 6th of the month, and the actions that we take were almost like looking for them to come from more of a fair and balanced outcome. Like we're seeking that justice, but sometimes we can have a little bit of an inertia and struggle to sort of be as decisive as we would like to be. And it may be again that in the early part of August you're still in evaluation period, you know. There's a lot of soul searching going on. In fact, the depth of the season that you're in from a soul searching perspective is pretty profound. But what comes from this is also the realization that whatever comes, you're ready. Now, as we approach the 8th, we've got Lionsgate energy arriving. And of course, this is a portal that is really enabling that integration to come online, and a time for, you know, profound manifestations. What I'm going to say to you is, because we've got some challenging energies that are surfacing astrologically on the 8th and the 9th, for me, it sort of crystallizes the focus and the intention that you're going to be bringing to that Lionsgate energy more significantly. Now, Temperance is coming in here, and so underpinning all of this is the energy of needing to maintain and seek balance in yourself beyond anything else. You know, love has to lead your logical mind, and your logical mind has to support the love that you're leading with, okay? And when you can understand and really embrace that, Gemini, then you're going to find a path that is easier for you to digest, easier for you to accept. And what I really see happening, you know, around the 8th and the 9th, because we've got Mars opposing Saturn retrograde, and then we've got Neptune, Mars opposing Neptune retrograde on the 9th, along with that full moon in Aquarius. So there's some sense of restriction or challenge, or something that looked kind of like a dead cert all of a sudden becoming a bit unclear. There's this sort of surging, spiking energy that's going on, and it can be really hard to feel as secure or confident in regards to things. Now, this might play out powerfully in collective, but in some way, shape or form, it still hits on a personal note for you. So Temperance as your guide here, as the major arcana that's coming in, is showing you the way through. And I think that the message here is meet whatever energy comes in directly, and do it with a sense of okay. And literally that word okay is going to be everything that you need in order to navigate August, because it's allowing almost like an acceptance of what it is that you're facing, right? And then following from that, asking the question of, what do I need to learn from this? And how do I move through this? And I think that the bravery and the fire energy of the page and the king, centering with that temperance is so supportive of sort of, knowing what needs to be done, accepting whatever it is that's showing up, maybe realizing that, things are imperfect and that's okay. Things are challenging and that's okay. Things might be soul aching and that's okay. But also things are rich and beautiful and precious and that's okay too. So your mind is really split in a lot of ways through this month of August, and it sort of coalesces in this challenging time through the 8th and the 9th, but that's fairly temporary, okay? There might be some frustration because that fire energy is again almost being soothed and tempered there with temperance, and there's a timing issue coming up in regards to this as well, okay? But let's talk about the upside. As we come out of this energy and the full moon really supporting the clearance of it, on the 11th we're then going to see your ruler Mercury go direct in Leo. We've got more fire than Knight of Wands. What we also are going to see is Venus and Jupiter coming together and really wanting you to harness that let's go big or go home energy of Leo. All of a sudden you feel inspired, you feel a renewed sense of confidence, there's a bravery, there's a heart-led expression, and Saturn is sextile to Uranus, so that's also bringing in support now, support for whatever it is that you're focused upon, and actually perhaps some real ingenious ideas or unique solutions that you hadn't considered or had been exposed to previously, that all of a sudden make whatever the challenge was in the last few days become something that is able to be met, not just met but actually overcome, and then a real upside or silver lining resulting from it, okay? So where communication had felt more difficult or situations had felt like they'd really slowed down, there's definitely this sort of relaunch energy, like you get back to where you need to be. And remember, the Knights are messengers of change, so that feels like it's almost the month of two halves, and the 11th really signals a time of profound shift. So we have to keep staying open, whatever it is that shows up, however it shows up, whatever we think it means, whatever we try to make it mean. Remember, in Leo energy, you're being challenged to reframe things, to look at the beliefs and the language that you use, the way that you talk about the things that are unfolding in your life, and understand how perhaps you are perpetuating specific patterns, or the degree to which you've outgrown a story because you just maybe get to a point where you're like, I just don't want to talk about this anymore, or I'm over talking about this, or going, through it time and time again. Like, I just feel like I'm done, I'm ready for something different. There is a sort of eagerness and a hunger and a drive that's showing up with this fire energy. But remember, Temperance is sort of holding court here as the major arcana and sort of trying to just, again, ensure that mind, body, soul, you keep yourself in as much as you can a state and a place of harmony. Star is coming through here, which is really beautiful as it sits beneath Temperance, and it's like, it kind of feels like a really soul-soothing elixir, that comes in perhaps to sort of quiet the flames, or just, sort of contain, some of that raw energy that sometimes can just feel like it gets a little bit out of control. And so however that's, playing out for you, remembering in third house, it's a lot to do with like the way that you're thinking. And remember, that also sort of activates like shorter term plans. So like trying to figure out the short term strategies in order to deal or to navigate with certain things, is also being sort of given this cooling, calming, sort of surrendering, balanced energy, okay? I think there's also a reminder as the Knight of Wands wants to sort of reach for something, and the Star is saying, yes, reach higher, aim higher, like don't be looking at the set of circumstances around you and all of a sudden like feeling like something isn't possible. You know, we have the 2 nights sort of moving in opposite directions, and it may feel that your mind is going in an opposite direction, or you may feel you're coming into a scenario with someone where you feel like you're both moving in an opposite energetic stream, and that can be quite a conflicting energy. The advice here is actually that there's something bigger that is supporting the clearance of this path, or the healing energy here, and perhaps there's a requirement to get out of your own way, or maybe as much as you can to not overthink or allow the anxiousness or the thoughts to run away from you. You know, this is about the way that you see yourself, and the way that you see the path, actually, the things that are happening for you, what's led you to this point. This is like August is much deeper than we're expecting it to be in terms of what it's showing and what it's revealing to us, right? And as we move into Virgo energy on the 22nd, the new moon arriving on the same day, we come into 4th house for you. So there's this real sense of you looking at your foundations. We've got 4 of Pentacles here. And, there is a steadying and a sort of more like robust feeling actually toward the end of August, that I think is something that you're going to need, because I think all that fire is indicative of just things feeling a bit unruly and sort of wild, and sort of a little bit of anarchy going on in some way. And as we come into Virgo season, like the star sort of leading you in there really. And remember, the star links to Aquarius, so it's sort of the powerful energy of that full moon from the 9th, and the 2 weeks after it is just helping support you to come into a time where things feel a bit more solid. Now, she is holding her throat here, so there's a suggestion that something that needs to be said, something you want to say, you're feeling held back or restricted in some way, shape or form. And, when we began the reading, we talked about the fact that you're offering, or there's an earnest sort of, aspect of something that's being expressed by you. And yet through the course of the month, it feels like there's still more to say, or something more that doesn't feel like it's able to be released or communicated. You will be supported as Mercury stations direct, but remember, sometimes even the shadow energy can continue that experience or that feeling. So we'll see in the extended where that takes us, and if we can start to sort of release on it. There's also a sense of just like taking care of business. I always have that with the energy of the 4 of Pentacles. So around that new moon, as you're setting your intentions, it needs to be one of like taking care of the details and really thinking things through in terms of like, what needs protected, what needs, improved upon, like what adjustments need to be addressed, so that your sense of security, remember 4th house, your sense of security can be received by you in a way that feels in accordance with the harmony and the alignment that you're seeking. Now, Venus comes into Leo on the 25th, and there's a lightness to that energy. There's almost like a sort of flirtatious quality to it, and a passion that gets lit up as well. Again, with all the fire that's coming through here, there's this sense of you feeling really moved by something in the month of August, whether that's a relationship, something you're working on, something that's going on for you in your life. I think Temperance again brings in that energy of just, one step at a time. Maybe there's a part of you that wants to go all in, and there's just this kind of, all right, let's just take it at the right pace for you, because what we don't want to do is sort of undo the healing and the work it's taken to get to this point. And maybe that's also connected into boundaries in some way, shape or form for you as well. So this is a month that's very much less about polished and perfect. It's much more real, authentic. This spike and surge of energy around the 8th and the 9th will definitely feel challenging, but what comes out of it is so powerful and so clear. This is why I'm saying you move from this clouded to clear energy, and the sort of mental gymnastics that you feel is very present in the beginning part of the month subsides, so that you're really allowing yourself to be led by love, to be soul led. And I think that you can look at yourself in the mirror. I think this is an important one for Gemini this month. You can look at yourself in the mirror and go like, do you know what, like my words are really matching my actions. Like what I'm saying is really what I believe, and what I'm doing is really in accordance with what I know my soul is asking of me at this time. And that's huge. That's huge. Don't underestimate the power and the significance of that as you come in toward the end of August. Now, if you're new to the channel, you're going to find the link for my extended reading in the comment and description box underneath. I do hope you'll join me. It's a way to get another 25 minutes or so about what's unfolding in August, along with a personal question and a relationship card, and it just enables me to show up for the free readings each month. So I really appreciate if you are in a position to invest and join me. Let's just clarify and see where we're going to take this energy. We've got the Two of Coins coming through, Four of Cups. Now you can check out my website, romywiser.com, Wheel of Fortune. If you're after a personal reading with me, 10 of Cups, that's nice. You'll also find my signature products, my oracle deck, my book and my journal. You'll also find all the reports that I offer, my membership, and links to my brand new blog, which is detailing my journey. I'm moving over to Mallorca with my family. I have a beautiful healing retreat that is scheduled for next year, 2026. So you'll find all the details about that. Learn more about what's going on for me over on romywiser.com. Four of Pentacles coming in with the Five of Cups and the Eight of Wands. Okay, and remember all the decks are always listed below as well. Okay. Right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle and just see how it's going to add to this conversation for Gemini. What do we have? The Collective Heart. Root energy built from love. We've got Soothe Your Soul. We've got Soul Star energy coming in. Rise in Love. And the Labyrinth of Sweet Surrender. Nice messages coming through, Gemini. Okay, we're just going to also look at an astrology card for you. This is specifically for the month of August. Just see how it's adding to the cosmic conversation. Okay, we've got the 11th house, friends, like-minded groups, and humanitarian beliefs. That will be activated in Aquarius energy, won't it, with a full moon? Let's explore that in the extended. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I wish you a beautiful month ahead. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.